Good morning, everybody, from near and far, as far away as London, England. As you can see by the bottom of my box, my name is Rita Quigley. My pronouns are she and her. And I address you as beloved community because that is indeed who you are. Now, how these readings hang together was not evident immediately to me. I read the usual commentaries, but nothing stood out. So I went back to Mary Loris's invitation. She tells me the theme is hospitality. Reread, ponder. Okay, I put that lens on the readings from our tradition, on the scriptures given us in the daily news, and on the need I have heard in the flurry of emails we are sharing with each other. Yes. We need to ponder in common the meaning of hospitality, defined so blandly in the dictionary as friendly and generous reception and entertainment of guests, visitors, or strangers. From the second book of Kings, we hear a textbook example. A woman of some means convinces her husband to arrange an Airbnb for a traveling holy man, Elisha. She offers, and he accepts. What does he offer in return? The promise of a child to a woman who had given up on motherhood. A payback that far exceeds the value of the initial gift. But now, let's go on a little further in the story to fill in a very interesting fact. A few years later, Elisha asks after the child, only to find out he has just died. He sends his servant to lay his staff on the child, but that's not powerful enough. So Elisha himself rushes to the child's room and starts full body CPR. He covers him with his body, breathes into his mouth, and still no response. He stands up, takes a breath. He tries again, and the child sneezes 7 times and gets up from the bed. That Old Testament, you can't beat it for drama. So Elisha is a powerful friend to have. The townspeople come to him because their water is foul and causing deaths and miscarriages. Elisha goes to the headwaters and throws salt in the water, which cleans the water, so no more deaths, and the babies are born healthy. End of digression. But not without some punch, given the emphasis on clean water. Number 1, there's clean water given to a child in the gospel. And 2, the quotation from Francis in Laudato Si on care for our common home, sent to us by Mary Wilmus. His quote, "Access to safe, drinkable water is a basic and universal human right, since it is essential to human survival, and as such is a condition for the exercise of other human rights. Our world has a grave social debt towards the poor who lack access to drinking water because they are denied the right to a life consistent with their inalienable dignity. This debt can be paid partly by an increase in funding to provide clean water and sanitary services among the poor." That from Laudato Si. Now, the ancient world put great weight on hospitality, especially to the alien who had no status and the stranger who had no ties to the community. The most powerful symbol was the communal meal. To share food was to share life, a gesture of intimacy and unity. God was the gracious host, as we heard 2 weeks ago, providing a meal of manna to the wanderers. Israel, in turn, was required to be hospitable. When Moses was bargaining for the safety of Sodom and Gomorrah, there were not 10 men. Do you remember, he said, how about 10 men? Will you stay your hand? There were not 10 men alone. God saved Lot alone, precisely because of his acts of hospitality. We take great comfort from the stories of Jesus showing hospitality, feeding 5,000, the fish fry on the beach for his friends, revealing himself to the two at dinner in Emmaus, teaching the generous hospitality of the Good Samaritan, and our sacred meal together, which follows Jesus' example. We proudly call ourselves a Eucharistic community because we know we must thankfully give our lives in service of the other. Because you gave me food when I was hungry and drink when I was thirsty, because you saw me a stranger and you took me in. This is what hospitality means. This is the cost of discipleship. This hospitality will cost you your life, and in return, it will give you your life's purpose. Isn't that what Matthew's reward really means? You will inherit the kingdom prepared for you from your birth. I know that we have all learned the lessons of hospitality in very concrete ways. In this community, we've told stories about how we have been humbled to receive bread and water from those who had little to spare, from new friends we made as strangers in Kenya, Somalia, Nicaragua, Bolivia, Malawi, Palestine. And we have given bread and water tearfully in recent days to Trinity Lutheran, Powderhorn Park, Hope Community, El Colegio, St. Kate's Food Shelves. We have called upon our prophets and our right-thinking members and welcomed their examples of boldness in showing us who needs hospitality. I'd like to close with excerpts from Maya Angelou's poem, Continue. It is a beautiful expression of how we might be encouraged in our welcoming. Take the hand of the despised and diseased and walk proudly with them in the high street. Some might see you and be encouraged to do likewise. Continue to plant a public kiss of concern on the cheek of the sick and the aged and the infirm, and count that as a natural action to be expected. Continue to ignore no vision which comes to increase, to enlarge, and increase your spirit. Continue to dare to love deeply and risk everything for the good thing. Continue to float happily in the sea of infinite substance, which set aside riches for you before you had a name. And so our simple questions to discuss together in our chat rooms are simple, befitting simple hospitality. When have you received the gift of hospitality? When have you been able to show hospitality?